Anybody can change the world. I think, you know, often I'm introduced as the example of an individual who changed the world, and that makes my mom really happy. It sounds awesome. You know, when I got that Nobel Prize, she stopped asking me to go and be a lawyer, you know. So, you know, I'm an ordinary gal from teeny tiny Vermont who happens to believe not just in human rights, but in human responsibility. I believe that I have a responsibility to make this world a better place, and I believe anybody can do it. And when I hear, oh, I don't have enough time, I kind of wonder, I don't have enough time. Who doesn't have like an hour to donate volunteering for something they care about? When I first started talking about volunteering and caring, people in the landmine campaign got mad at me because I would not say, come and volunteer for the landmine campaign. If that really gets you excited, great. But that's not what I care about. I care that there's something that you are so passionate about that you want to do something to make it different. I started out as a volunteer. I started out handing out brochures at the metro stops in Washington, D.C. on the Central America War. And that's what I did, trying to educate people about the involvement of the U.S., what our money was doing. And then that wasn't enough. Then I got a chintzy job that paid nothing and horrified my parents, but I was actually doing what I believed was right in the world. And then years later, we created the Landmine Campaign. And in 5 years, we did change the world. And I was burned out. I think probably many of you know what burnout is. I was fried. I was sick of it. I'd done it for 11 years. I wanted to get a straight job, to be honest. I went to a job counselor and tried very hard to fit into a category that could get me a regular job. By then I had, of course, 2 master's degrees, one from Johns Hopkins SAIS, another one in languages, and one would think I could have fit in something, but the woman who interviewed me said she'd have a very difficult time mainstreaming me into normalcy. I know, isn't that funny? It makes me laugh. I'm so glad she didn't. I was saved from myself, and I was invited to create an international campaign to ban landmines. Sometimes people think, you know, if I can't change the world in its entirety today, it's just not worth it. You know, if I can't bring about world peace today, I'm just going to go back and watch TV and drink my beer and hope the Capitals win that hockey thing. You never know when change is going to happen. You know, we didn't know when critical mass was going to happen in the landmine campaign. It was mind-boggling. You cannot solve a problem just by throwing money at it. You cannot solve a problem in the world just with technology. It's ridiculous. If it were that easy, the world would be a hell of a great place. You think peace is wimpy, go sit in prison like Mandela did. You think peace is wimpy, go sit in your house for the last 14 out of 19 years like Aung San Suu Kyi. And I can go on and on and on. Those people are not wimps. I'd rather be with them at my back than some of the people in Washington sending other people's children to war. It's not their kids who go. It's not their kids who go. It's other people's kids. I think one of the things we need to do is restore the draft. And that freaks people out when I say, right on. Why? What made people go into the streets in Vietnam is worry that their little darlings were going to get sent to war. My father, who was, of course, in World War II, and lovely, he was a great guy. I love my dad. But he and I fought like savages at the dinner table, making my mother, the Italian, have horrible indigestion. Oh, I'm serious. Ruth, I love her. She does know Venus. Anybody got a problem? I'll tell Mom. She's great at it. But Dad started changing his mind, I'm sure partly by the power of my brilliant argumentation, but also because my youngest brother was getting right at that draft age. Then suddenly Dad was willing to send him to Canada. You know, as long as it's other people's kids dying and it's poor kids who have no other alternative for the most part, you know, the military does not want to draft for precisely that reason. Start an organization to do it on a larger scale. there must be other frustrated people like you who want the system to be different. Find them, create an organization. It is not hard.